Markle's publicity stunt trip to Chicago has just blown apart Prince Harry's UK security lies.
But apparently for me, that doesn't matter.
She's trying to do this to get some decent PR after the Australian disaster. But for me, actually, Brittany, what she doesn't realize is she's just literally thrown a grenade into Harry's claim about why he needs security.
Did you like it?
I'm almost speechless.
I tried so hard.
Saturday morning at Holy Name Cathedral in Chicago, a woman in a beige turtleneck quietly slid into a pew. She smiled, sat beside a local TV reporter, and posed for a quick photo. The reporter posted it to X and then deleted it almost immediately. The woman was Meghan Markle. The date was May 2, 2026, exactly 1 year and 1 day after Prince Harry suffered a crushing defeat in court over his security case in the UK, a legal battle that reportedly cost him nearly £1.5 million.
However, like everything with Meghan Markle, this event was immediately shrouded in bizarre controversy because Natalie Martinez, once the story had been picked up with the mainstream media, removed her post from social.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point. It's really quite sad that I won't be able to show, my children my homeland.
Harry's central argument was simple. Britain was too dangerous for Meghan and their children without full police protection. That claim became the foundation of his entire case. So when Meghan appeared publicly and casually in Chicago that same weekend, critics said the timing could not have been worse. In one photo, she seemed relaxed, approachable, and completely unbothered. For royal biographer Tom Bower, it was a familiar pattern. He had long argued that contradictions like this would eventually catch up with the Sussexes. And according to many observers, that moment had arrived. To understand why this matters, go back to 2020.
This is a total disaster for Prince Harry and his ongoing claim against Ravik in the United Kingdom.
After Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties, the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, known as RAVEC, decided they would no longer receive automatic state-funded police protection after March 31st, 2020. Instead, each UK visit would be reviewed individually. Harry fought back in court. In a written statement, he said the UK was a vital part of his children's heritage, but they could not feel at home there if they were not safe on British soil. That phrase, not safe on UK soil, became the heart of his legal argument.
Do you not want to just keep us safe? Whether you're the government, whether you're the royal household, whether you're my dad, my family, despite all of our differences, do you not want to just ensure our safety?
But in May 2025, 3 senior judges rejected his appeal unanimously. Their conclusion was clear. RAVEC's case-by-case approach was lawful, reasonable, and, in the court's words, sensible. After losing his appeal, Prince Harry sat down with the BBC and made a striking statement. "I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point." That quote landed hard, and 1 year later, it came back into the spotlight.
But 2020, when that decision happened, I couldn't believe it. I actually couldn't believe it. I thought with all the disagreements and all of the chaos that's happening, the one thing that I could rely on is my family keeping me safe. And not only did they decide to remove my security in the UK, but they also signaled to every single government around the world not to protect us.
On May 2nd, 2026, Meghan Markle attended a First Communion service at Holy Name Cathedral in downtown Chicago, a major Catholic church with more than 1,000 seats. It's also just a short drive from Northwestern University, where Meghan studied. According to People magazine, she arrived early and sat with other families. No private entrance, no special treatment. The only visible security was one personal bodyguard.
Harry and Meghan Markle are claiming that they need guaranteed constant security protection from the British taxpayer because they are so under threat in the United Kingdom, and it is just impossible given how famous they are and given their royal role for them to travel around just like Meghan.
Harry was not with her. Archie and Lilibet were not there either. This was a solo trip. The reason for the visit: Meghan was reportedly attending the first communion of her godson, the son of one of her close college friends. Neither the friend nor the child was publicly identified. Then came a photo that got people talking. NBC Chicago reporter Natalie Martinez, who was attending the same service, posted a picture showing Meghan seated nearby. Her caption read,
"The propagandists for the Sussexes, People magazine, had heralded this solo trip to Chicago for her godson's first communion." Now, people thought this was a great thing that Meghan had made the rare solo trip and that she arrived early to Holy Name Cathedral without any special accommodations.
Yup, That is exactly who you think it is to her right. Not long after, the post was deleted. That single image told a powerful story. Meghan in a packed public cathedral with minimal visible security in one of America's largest cities. Chicago has made major progress in reducing violent crime, but its overall crime rate is still often cited as higher than London's.
Local TV presenter Natalie Martinez posted on X, "Holy name vibes today. Sailor," that's her daughter in the front, walking to her first communion. And yep, that's exactly who you think it is to her right.
That's why some critics quickly pointed back to Harry's earlier claim that the UK was too unsafe for his family. Then there's another detail that sparked discussion. People referred to the child as Meghan's godson. Under Catholic Church rules, formal godparents are typically practicing Catholics who have completed certain sacraments. Because Meghan has not publicly identified as a practicing Catholic, some observers questioned whether the term was being used in the formal religious sense or simply as a close family title.
Natalie Martinez is a journalist, a TV reporter. She knows how this game works. She specifically pointed out that it was Meghan in the picture with her child, so of course this was all planned.
Either way, the headline-grabbing photo reopened a familiar debate about public appearances, personal security, and the Sussexes' carefully managed image. A Christian witness, not a godmother. And that detail is where the story gets messy.
That is, of course, a political issue, but so is Prince Harry and Meghan Markle trying to claim that it is too dangerous for them to travel here without the UK taxpayer having to foot the bill forevermore.
Meghan Markle was baptized in 2018 at St. James's Palace by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, into the Church of England. That part is public record. But she has not publicly been known as a Roman Catholic, and going to a Catholic school, like Immaculate Heart in Los Angeles, does not automatically make someone Catholic.
Be a Catholic who has been confirmed and has already received the most holy sacrament of the Eucharist and who leads a life of faith in keeping with the function to be taken on.
So when people described her as attending her godson's first communion, some people started asking questions. Was godson being used in the official Catholic sense? Or was it just a close family nickname that sounded softer for the story? That matters because Catholic rules around godparents are specific. A formal Catholic godparent is expected to be Catholic and meet certain religious requirements.
Have completed the 16th year of age unless the diocesan bishop has established another age or the pastor or minister has granted an exception for a just cause.
So either the word was used casually or there is more context that has not been shared publicly. And that's why critics say this fits a bigger Sussex pattern. Pick the warmest word, build the cleanest image, and hope nobody checks the fine print. Her team reportedly gave the story to a friendly outlet. They chose the wording. So now the wording is fair game.
She became Anglican, I believe, in March or April 2017 because she wanted to convert. She didn't need to, but she wanted to convert to Anglicanism, or she became an Anglican to marry Harry. So as far as we know, she belongs to the Anglican Church.
Then comes the bigger issue, security. Harry's legal argument in the UK was that private security could not replace official state protection. But Meghan's Chicago appearance showed her in a public cathedral, on a solo trip, with what was described as one personal bodyguard. And that contrast is exactly why this story blew up.
That's the truth. It's always been nothing. Meghan doesn't want to see people who she either no longer finds useful or people she thinks are not going to go along with the grift anymore. And the royals saw right through her most of the time. And once she could get out, she doesn't want to face them. She's a coward in many ways. She doesn't want to have people, especially when she's interacting with Harry, people who know the real Harry, the Harry before Meghan, and her seeing them interact. Like, she wants this control and she wants to always be the victim.
Now the contradictions start stacking up fast. Meghan walked into a busy cathedral in downtown Chicago with one private bodyguard and no visible security perimeter. That matters because Harry's legal team argued that private protection was not enough. In court, his lawyer said, "Safety, security, and life are at stake."
I just want to be fair to Chicago, but also point out that Chicago, even compared to the dangerous city in the United Kingdom, Sadiq Khan's hellhole London, which I repeat, I criticize every single day because I live here and I've seen the destruction of the city. Even compared to London, Chicago is incredibly dangerous. It matches the UK's entire homicide toll, despite having just 4% of the population.
Yet Meghan traveled alone to a major US city, using the same kind of private security that Harry's team said could not adequately protect the family. Then there's Harry's own BBC quote, "I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK." 1 year later, Meghan was moving around Chicago with what appeared to be less security than she would likely receive during a planned visit to Britain.
Security worries about the Philippines. Well, your dad's in America now. Brittany, like, what's stopping you? You got on the plane to Chicago to go and, go and see this godson that we've never heard of at his Holy Communion. What's stopping you seeing your dad? Nothing.
Harry's legal filings also pointed to the New York paparazzi incident as evidence that private security had limitations. But in Chicago, Meghan attended a public church service, was photographed by a local reporter, and there was no sign of any major security issue. The broader threat concerns Harry raised in court were serious, but critics argue that if those concerns are ongoing, they would not be limited to one country.
Again, I have to be careful what I say, but people who leave public office receive lifetime protection, regardless of whether there are threats or risks to them. So for me, with a whole list of risks and threats that were known about in 2020 and that have only increased over time, including the Al-Qaeda threat that was published and talked about recently, completely disregarded, thrown away, ignored.
Harry also said the court ruling restricted his family's freedom. Yet Meghan's solo trip suggested she was comfortable traveling within the US without armed police protection. And while Harry has said the UK is not safe enough for the children, Meghan was able to take a 2,000-mile trip from Montecito while Archie and Lilibet remained at home. That leaves commentators asking one big question. If this level of private security was acceptable in Chicago, why was it presented as insufficient in the UK?
I mean, Harry and Meghan think the vast majority of the world is stupid. It's quite dumb on their part because the collective knowledge of the internet and everybody watching them is much greater than the two of them combined.
8 major contrasts, one weekend, and a debate that is far from over. Picture the next legal move. A Supreme Court request, another RAVEC review, a fresh claim. Whatever comes next, the problem is obvious. Any lawyer opposing Harry only needs 2 moments. Clip 1. Harry on the BBC, May 2, 2025, saying, "I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point."
Protection. He knew very well that he wasn't going to get it. I think it was all about trying to embarrass the king. It was about destroying the monarchy. It was about all the time me, and Meghan. And very much it was Harry wanting to say that he is somebody who can make huge problems for his family. And I'm not totally surprised by this. I'd heard he's pretty desperate. He was looking for company.
Clip 2. Meghan on May 2, 2026, sitting in a public Chicago cathedral, smiling near a TV reporter's phone camera with one visible bodyguard and no obvious security ring around her. Played back to back, those clips hit harder than any speech in court.
You make, Tom, of these accusations that Harry is using his children as a weapon, I guess, against his family. He's basically been accused of saying, look, give me this protection, or Father, King Charles, you're not going to see the kids because I just simply can't bring them to the UK.
Of course, it's blackmail, emotional blackmail, and that's what he's been doing for some time.
Tom Bauer has been warning about this kind of contradiction for years. His basic point is simple. The Sussex security story was not only about fear. Critics say it was also about pressure, status, and keeping control of the UK door. To be fair, threats against public figures are real.
The point about Harry is he doesn't know what to do anymore. He's losing all sorts of relations in Britain. He hasn't got a purpose. He's embarrassed with his charities in Africa. Invictus is really only once every 2 years. He's losing any reason for being the prince. And I think he's now realizing, slowly but surely, he made a terrible mistake by leaving. And this is what it's all about now. Make me an offer so I don't cause you too much embarrassment in the future.
Harry's concerns should not be brushed off like they mean nothing, but behavior matters. If the legal argument says one thing and the public actions show something different, people will notice. That is why the Chicago trip landed so badly. Meghan's appearance made critics ask, If private security was enough for a solo visit to a public cathedral in Chicago, why was it treated as totally unacceptable for a planned UK visit? Either the danger is too serious for normal public movement, or the risk was being presented in the strongest possible way for court. Both cannot sit comfortably side by side, and the court had already made its view clear. Sir Geoffrey Voss called Ravek's case-by-case approach sensible. Then Meghan's own public outing seemed to support that same point. On the ground, the image was simple: a solo trip, one visible bodyguard, a large cathedral, ordinary families, a local reporter, a photo posted to X, a quick deletion, and then confirmation through People. That was not some hidden private moment. It became a full news cycle. And it all points back to the same question that has followed the Sussexes for years. Are they truly trapped by danger? Or are they managing a public narrative? Harry said his wife could not safely return to the UK. 1 year later, Meghan appeared comfortable enough to attend a public event in Chicago. That contrast is the whole story. One beige turtleneck, one deleted photo, one legal argument suddenly looking a lot weaker.